Joining me this morning to talk more about all that is ahead and as we wait for the mystery to be unlocked as far as the charges is Renato Mariotti, former federal prosecutor and host of the podcast It's Complicated. Thank you, as always, for being here. This is complicated. I mean, as we go through it, there's so much we don't know. I think first and foremost, as we digest the possibility of criminal charges against a former president, the question I keep hearing is, what is the crime? Is this about personal funds and corporate funds being used and the difference? And what is the crime in your mind?
Well, we don't know yet because we haven't seen the indictment. And that's why, we just heard a moment ago a statement from Alan Dershowitz. I don't take his views very seriously because he has very strong feelings about an indictment he hasn't even read. So we don't know. The indictment's not public. We are going to know later today. There's reports that it is involving the falsification of business records. And then that leads us to another question, because under New York law, that's only a felony if it's done in furtherance of another crime. So we don't know what the other crime is. Could it be tax fraud, campaign finance, for example? We don't know exactly. I'll have a lot of questions about it. I have certain questions and concerns about the indictment, but that really depends on what the factual and legal underpinning is. And I think we'll know more about that later today.
Like what about the indictment raises some red flags for you?
Well, if it's a campaign finance case, I don't think that we've had many campaign finance cases in which the expenditure is a hush money payment to a former paramour. That has happened in the John Edwards case, but that resulted in an acquittal for Mr. Edwards. So I do think that's a potential question. I think there's also, a question regarding whether or not there were actual false statements that were transmitted to another person. In other words, there's clearly false statements in the books and records of the Trump organization meant to disguise payments. I don't think there's any serious question about that. But if there are, typically fraud involves sending those false statements to someone else for the purpose of fooling them, tricking them into getting their money or property. What I'm interested in seeing is whether or not, for example, there is evidence that false statements were sent, let's say, to a tax authority. Because as you know, I think everybody knows, when you have false statements in your books and records, occasionally that can result in a false W-2 or 1099 or something along those lines. So I'm interested in seeing exactly what the prosecution's theory is. I think we have to take a careful approach. I don't think that any prosecution of someone who is in politics is wrong. There's plenty of corrupt politicians in my home city of Chicago. But we have to, I think, look at the evidence and the law very carefully.
There was I guess the most recent development in the case was the addition of an attorney. Joe Tacopina has been all over cable news talking about the case representing the former president. Now we've got Todd Blanche. Does that indicate to you that his legal team may be more concerned about these potential charges than first thought?
I think that's a very good move for the former president. I mean, Mr. Blanche is a serious attorney. He's someone you would actually hire for a case like this. Mr. Tacopina is not a serious attorney, in my view. His statements have, I think, reflected a sort of levity and an attitude towards this indictment that is unwarranted. Look, I represent people all the time since I've left government practice who are under indictment. I represent people right now who are under indictment. It's a big deal to be indicted for serious crimes, for felonies. That's a life-altering experience, and you need an attorney who's going to take that seriously, who's got experience going up against government prosecutors, who can make the right legal motions, who can fight your case aggressively. Now, I do think the former president now has an attorney who's capable of doing that. Of course, we're going to have to wait and see whether or not he lasts and whether or not he's on the forefront. The former president seems to run through attorneys very quickly.
How about the judge in this case? The former president has made no secret that he's not happy about this judge. He's called him biased, says he hates me. Risky move for Donald Trump to be going after the judge presiding over this case if it were to go to trial?
Well, it's a foolish move from a legal perspective. And there's nothing, by the way, none of what was said, there's no evidence to suggest any of those things are true. But it's very valuable as a media strategy because here we are on television repeating his statements, right? You just repeated what he said. There's no evidence; those are just his unwarranted opinions. I imagine he's concerned because this judge presided over a case in which Trump's company, the Trump organization, was found to have committed a felony. And so I think that is where he views there as bias. But I see no evidence to suggest that. This is a judge who's presided over cases in New York for some time, has a good reputation. I don't think he's doing himself any favors within.
Thank you for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find NewsNation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.